Okay, kids, now this is Grandpa Bob, and I have a book here I wrote. It's called The Magic Sneakers. I'm going to read a chapter at a time, or whatever takes up the full 10 minutes we're allowed. And then I'll continue on with another video tomorrow. So you might say it's kind of a bedtime story, although this is for kids maybe 8 through 12. Okay, here we go. I'll put my glasses on. It was Saturday afternoon. Jimmy Burton needed a new pair of sneakers. The local sporting goods store had advertised a big sale that day, but by the time he and his mother got to the store, the tennis shoes section was in disarray with sneakers and boxes scattered everywhere. The manager was in the process of getting things back in order as Jimmy and his mother walked in. "You are welcome to try to find the size and style you want," said the store manager, "but there is very little left to choose from until we get a new shipment in." Jimmy picked up a shoe he liked, but he couldn't find the matching shoe. He found another pair his size, but didn't care for the style. Then he spotted a sneaker under a seat that for a second seemed to him almost luminescent. But under the neon lights, it was quite ordinary, even a little scuff with a couple of dirty marks on it. But just for fun, he tried it on, and it fit snugly. In fact, it was very comfortable. It seemed to make his foot tingle, and in fact felt quite pleasurable. He searched frantically for the matching shoe and finally found it inside a shoebox with an unmatched shoe. When he put it on and walked around, he felt like he was walking in air. "I really want these," he said to his mother, who had another pair in her hands for him to try. His mother looked disapprovingly at his feet. "They don't look new to me," she said. "I think someone must have left his old shoes when he bought a new pair." "Oh, Mom, I really want these, please." Just then the manager came over. "Well, how are we doing?" he said. "No luck?" Thinking Jimmy still had his old shoes on. "No, I found a pair I liked," replied Jimmy. "Oh," answered the manager, looking puzzled. "Where are they?" "I'm wearing them," said Jimmy. "I don't mind them being a little messy." The manager frowned. "Well, I'm afraid these are not new. May I look at one?" Jimmy took the left shoe off and handed it to the manager. "Why, these are not even our shoes," the manager said. "The label says made in Tibet. We don't carry shoes made in Tibet. In fact, I've never seen any shoes made in Tibet. I think Tibet is part of China now." "Well, apparently my son really wants them," said Jimmy's mother. The manager shrugged. "As far as I'm concerned, you can have them. The customer must have left them to be thrown away." So Jimmy kept the shoes on, and he and his mother went home. When Jimmy and his mom got back to the house, the boy ran upstairs to his room and stood in front of a full-length mirror. In the dim light of early evening, the shoes seemed to glow. Jimmy suddenly felt lighter than air. A feeling of intense elation overtook him. Every molecule of his body seemed to tingle. As he stood there, he felt that if he wanted to, he could float up in the air, and as the thought occurred to him, that's exactly what happened. He slowly rose up and hovered about 2 feet above the carpet. It was a very strange sensation indeed. Then he got scared as the full impact of what happened hit him, and he immediately sank down to the floor level again. "Wow," he said aloud. Jimmy then sat down on the edge of his bed. "I must be having a dream," he thought. He stood up and imagined himself floating up in the air again. Sure enough, the exact same thing happened. "Wow," he said again. "This is cool." He looked down at his sneakers. That slight glow was there again. He took them off and tried to concentrate on floating up, but of course nothing happened. When he finally put them on again, he knew right away he had the power. He didn't have to prove it again. Jimmy thought about telling his parents, or rather showing them his newly acquired strange ability. But he was afraid they would get scared. Besides, he felt he really needed to think this whole thing through. If word got out that a boy could float in the air, crowds of people, not to mention the press, would be trying to get to see him. The following day was Sunday, and Jimmy's parents had planned to visit some friends. Since he'd be alone in the house, it would be a good time to practice. Right now, he'd better just behave as normally as possible. But it was difficult to control the excitement he was feeling. He decided to go downstairs since dinner would be ready soon. After that, he'd watch a little television, finish his homework, and go to bed. The next chapter, chapter 2, A Busy Sunday. I think we better leave this till tomorrow because it's quite long. So, if you're interested in learning what happens to Jimmy and his magic shoes, please feel free to tune in tomorrow and we'll read another chapter. This is Grandpa Pop. Okay, this is Grandpa Bob saying good night.